Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining in to our Thursday webinar. And today I am going to present you a very special topic, which is GTM, signal and growth. This is the talk of the town, and a lot of questions are coming to us, in terms of what is GTM strategy, what is signal-led growth, what is a dark funnel strategy. We are getting a lot of comments in our comment section, and also I'm getting a bunch of requests over social media. So today I'm going to break down our process in terms of how we create go-to-market or GTM strategy using signals and dark funnel. Right? So if you're interested in this topic of go-to-market strategy, GTM engineering, ABM, and B2B marketing, then you are at the right place. All right, so let's jump right into it. Insightstap. So we are a full stack AI agent and AI web app development. We are also a GTM engineering consulting. I am one of the top rated Fiverr Pro, so you can find me on Fiverr as well. And we can build custom AI solutions to solve real business problems. We can help you grow using signal-led GTM engines that can scale your revenue. And we can also integrate seamless connection between AI and your systems. So if you have any of those queries, please do reach out to us. You can also reach out to me on LinkedIn and on Fiverr, where I am one of the top rated Fiverr pros, so that we can start the communication. All right, now with that, let's get started. What is dark funnel? Now, you must have come across various different type of quote unquote marketing funnels over the years, right? There are the very famous AIDA funnel, awareness, interest, desire, action, the AIDA funnel. Then there are other funnels as well. And then HubSpot has a famous flywheel, so that is, they came up with the concept of flywheels. And then there are different type of funnels and loops which are now available in terms of marketing principles for B2B. But what we're going to talk about is dark funnel. Okay. So how is dark funnel different than every other funnel out there? Most of the funnel that you're going to study out there are going to be visible, what we call as the visible funnel. So if you look at it, the visible funnel has a few components. That means you run campaigns and you get the prospect get interested in your product or services, and then you create some sort of an inbound loop using running ads or even outreach or social media and other places. But the whole thing will be very visible. Okay, it can follow, say, an AIDA technique: awareness, interest, desire, and action, or any other technique. You can use it. And most of the marketing principles and the marketing gurus out there, they rely on one of these visible funnel techniques to generate leads and interest to their business. Okay, but what we deal with is not just the visible funnel, but also what we call as the dark funnel. Okay, and I'm going to explain you in a bit what is the difference between a visible funnel and dark funnel. The visible funnel is campaign led. That means you run a social media ads, meta ads, Google ads, or YouTube ads, or LinkedIn ads, reach out to the targeted audience. They will see your ads, they will click on your ad, and then possibly they'll come down to your website, fill up the form, and it'll come down to your CRM, and then your sales rep will start following up. Now, the whole funnel is visible. You know who the target audience is, you're reaching out to them, and then you're creating a campaign around it, and then you are generating leads, right? And the same principle goes with all the other channels as well, whether it is email, social, paid ads, it doesn't really matter. Okay, so this is what we call as the visible funnel. Now, there is a limitation of the visible funnel. I'll give you the limitation. For example, if you're running Google ads, if you're giving us software development services, or web development services, so you're running ads on web development services in your city or in your country or in a particular country, whatever the keyword is. Now, the people who are going to look at your ads are the people who are at the bottom of the funnel. That means people who are actually looking for that particular service, right? So for example, if I'm going to Google and I'm typing web development service agency near me, or web development service agency in LA or Delhi or Moscow, possibly your ad will come up, and then your prospect will click, go ahead and start a journey there. But the problem with this approach is it's at the bottom of the funnel, which means that you are competing with a lot more companies who are also targeting the same specific keywords, right? Everybody knows that web development services. If somebody looks for web development services, they will simply go to Google and type web development services company near me. So everybody is fighting for the same real estate, for the same keywords, and the competition goes high. You have got to pay more money, and you are all competing. It's like a red ocean. You are all competing for a small set of people who are actually looking for a service at that particular time. Okay, so that's in many ways our limitations, or one of the limitations of the visible funnel. I'm not saying that you don't do visible funnel. Of course, visible funnel is absolutely required. But if you look at the entire market, the market is much bigger than that. According to most of the statistics and estimates out there in B2B, there are less than 2% people who actually have the intent to buy. For example, if you reach out to 100 people, then there are only possibly 2 people who have the intent to buy at that particular point of time. The rest 98 people may have an intent to buy, but possibly in a near future or a far future, right? So you are completely missing out on the signals. And even on those 2% people that you are reaching out, you are not reaching out to all those 2% people. You're missing out on a lot. And also you're competing with other players in the market, right? So if you look at the market, there is this 2% of the audience who are actually looking for product and service, and everybody is, fighting for that 2%. But most of the companies are just simply ignoring the rest 98% of the people out there, okay, who may not be looking for something right now, or maybe looking for something in near future, or somebody who is looking for something right now, but you're just simply not aware of it. For example, if you're running ads, web development services ads in New York, okay, then you're completely missing out the rest of the world, right? So the rest of the world is in dark of your presence, and you are in dark of their intent, okay? And the same goes with every channel. So the way we look at it is, so there is a big market, okay, and then there is a chunk of audience, your prospect, who are there in the market, who have the need, but they are in dark of you, okay, and you are in dark of them. So that's why we call it the dark funnel. Now, all the people who have a need, they are sending out some signals. For example, there are people who are not going to Google. They need web development services, but they are just going to LinkedIn, and then they are posting, hey, you know what? I have a requirement. I need web development services. Please help me out. You are running Google ads. You don't know, the Google ad will not run on LinkedIn. So you're completely missing out on that particular opportunity. If somebody is looking, posting jobs or requirement for web developers, that means they look for web development services, right? So if somebody is posting jobs for web developers, that's also a signal that they are looking for web development services. Maybe if you know in real time that they are posting this kind of jobs, you can reach out to them saying that, hey, what's the point of hiring too many developers? You can just hire us, and we'll do the web development services for you, right? I'm just making up the use cases here, but the use cases are plenty, and there's no limit to it, right? So the point here I'm trying to make is that people are sending signals all across the market, okay, and you are possibly reaching out to them only on certain channels or using certain strategies, and you are missing out on a lot of opportunity in the market. So there is a small opportunity, just like an iceberg in the picture I'm showing you. There is a small opportunity which is visible to you, but there is a huge opportunity which is invisible to you. And if you can, come up with a strategy by which you can tap on this invisible funnel, then your pipeline will grow tremendously faster, and you will get a lot more opportunities for your business. Okay, so that is what we're going to talk about. It's called the dark funnel, and we have created a framework around it. We are going to talk about the framework as well. This is the framework we have built. It's called the dark loop principles, right? So the dark loop principle stands for DARK. It means detect, augment, reach, and Kaizen. Okay. So this is the principle that we have built. This is a framework. It's a loop framework that we have built. And using this framework, we actually create the GTM strategies for B2B for our customers, right? So the number one is detect. We build systems to detect the signals out there in the dark funnel. Then we build systems to augment it, to enrich it, okay, to find the signals and find the companies, find the people, enrich the information regarding the need. Then we create a system around reach. That means we reach out to them using paid ads, LinkedIn ads, Meta ads, Google ads, using outreach, email, SMS, LinkedIn messaging, whatever. Okay, and then we create a loop, what we call as the Kaizen, which is a continuous improvement loop or the continuous learning loop. We create the system using advanced analytics, product analytics, web analytics, and we connect all the dots. And we create this loop. Okay, so this is the principle behind the GTM strategy that we build for our customers and for ourselves. And if you are interested to learn more about it, stay tuned. Okay, I'm going to give you the exact step-by-step process on how we do that. Okay. So this is the framework that we follow in terms of building the GTM strategy. We call it the GTM playbook for B2B sales. There are three important steps. We follow these three steps. It's a very simple three-step that we follow. We have simplified things as much as possible, but super simple, but super effective as well. Okay. So the first step is the lead generation. That means this is visible funnel, right? This is all the stuff that the companies typically do, paid ads, cold leads, inbound leads, outbound leads, whatever. And within the paid ads, the company are running social ads, PPC ads, display ads, platform ads, whatever they're going to run. So these are the typical visible funnel that companies create. And then they also generate cold leads using Apollo and Cognism, and they hire lead generation agency. They also, in many ways, have inbound lead setup in place. For example, they have a partnership program. They go to trade shows and conferences, social media leadership, thought leadership. They engage in communities. They are active on listing sites like SourceForge, Clutch, G2 Agency Spot, or whatever. And then they also get some sort of an outbound. Okay, their sales rep or business development team, they do run some sort of an outbound email and LinkedIn outreach to a certain extent, but these are generally very siloed and they are not integrated in one place. And the marketing team and the sales team, they work separately in many ways. So that is how the scenario typically for a B2B marketing and sales teams look like. Okay. So this is what we have. Okay. And we build that. If you need help with ads and all, we do that as well. But once you have this system in place, you are basically catering to the visible funnel, right? But you are ignoring the dark funnel. Okay? So what do we do with the dark funnel? We focus on intent and the signals. Okay, I talked about intent and signals, right? That means people are showing up their intent and signals through different methods. Okay, so we are going to. So what we do that is we have this checklist of intent and signals. For example, the first intent and signal is website visit. So if somebody is visiting your website and they're not filling up the form, that means they have an intent, they have shown the signal, but they have not filled up the form. So for many of the customers that we work with, we see that there is a huge amount of website visitors thanks to the content marketing, SEO, and other effort that they are doing, even paid ads. But a majority of the visitors, they never convert into leads. And the sales teams are trained to just sit and wait for the leads to come in. So this is how the sales team works. They will sit, they will open up the CRM, Salesforce, they will see, okay, fine, 5 leads have come up, then they will be too busy working on those particular leads. But on the back end, from the marketing point of view, there might be like 5,000 people, they might have visited the website, but only 5 of them filled up the form. What about the rest, thousands of people who have not filled up the form, right? Many of them, they might have an intent, but they have not just filled up the form. Maybe they have filled up the form of your competitors, and you're missing out on that particular opportunity. So this is the number one intent that we look into, okay, which is website visit, right? And now we have the technology called reverse IP tracking technology. We have companies like Sixsense, Bombora, Clearbit, Vector, RB2B factors, which can find not just the company level intent, but also the person level intent. That means it can decipher for most of the users from which company they are coming from, at least 50 to 60% of the time. And some of them, like RB2B and others, they can even decipher who that person is, right? So we have that technology now in place. Second, the most important signal that we keep a track is job post and hiring. As I said, if somebody is posting web developers job role, that means possibly A, they are an agency who is growing. B, they are an actual client who wants to build a new website or a new app. Okay. So if you can find those intent quickly, then you can enrich it, augment it. You can find out whether they are an agency or an actual client. And then you can reach out to them saying that, hey, you know what, you are hiring developers, but building an app is more than just hiring a developer. We are a complete app development agency. We will build this complete app for you, and it will be overall less expensive than hiring in-house team. So you can create an outreach campaign around these signals, right? So job post is another very important signal that we look into. The third is, of course, the cold outreach engagement. So if you're already running outreach, cold outreach, and LinkedIn outreach, there are engagement data, right? Not everybody is replying saying that I'm interested in your product and service. A lot of them, they are just engaging with you. So if you can get that engagement data and then rework and retarget those audience, that also brings very good results. So that's another very important signal. Then existing customer match. This is another super important signal that most of the customers, they simply ignore. Your customer database, your Salesforce database, your HubSpot database is the biggest, source of insight for your company. So if you have, say, 1,000 customers lying in your HubSpot or Salesforce, and based on the 1,000 companies, you can find similar companies who are closest to those 1,000 companies, and then you reach out to them, then the chances of closing those clients will be very high because similar companies have already done business with you, right? But I see, even though it's no brainer, I see most of the companies are simply not, using this technique. Okay. The next one is search for competitors, comparison ads, right? Okay. Social listening. You can listen to social media thanks to tools like Trigify and others, and you can, look into competitor mentions. For example, if somebody is talking about your competitors, then possibly they are interested in your product and service. So if you can create a system around social listening, that's a very good way of listening into the dark funnel. Then, of course, we have industry-specific data, OSHA, safety incident, EPA, regulatory, chemical board. So the point here is there are a lot of industry-specific APIs which is available, which is giving out the data. And if you can listen to those APIs, that data, if you can create those systems, then there'll be a lot of information that you can decipher, right? Okay. So I'm going to talk more on this in the coming days. Right now, I'm here just to explain the overall principle. Then the aggregator data provider, if there are clickstream data provider as well, which provide clickstream data that you can look into. Another very commonly used is tech adoption, right? For example, if you are a Shopify builder, app builder, then obviously all the customers who are using Shopify app can be a potential customer, right? So based on tech adoption, also you can create your own outreach and ads, right? So Shopify, Stripe, HubSpot, Salesforce. I mean, the possibilities are just tremendous. Another important signal is fundraising or M&A. Okay, that signal is already there thanks to Crunchbase and G2 and Gartner and other data providers. You can easily find this information and you can push it back as an enrichment to your CRM. New product launches, G2 profile visit, very, very important. If you're a big, large enterprise B2B company, if you have a G2 profile already set up, do the integration with HubSpot and, just look into the signal of G2 profile. Who is visiting your profile? They are doing what? Super important signal. Then there is another very important signal, which is your own product data. For example, if you have an app, if you have an enterprise app, right? So you might have the CDP and, and attached CRM and data warehouse and web analytics data and product analytics data scattered around different systems. But these systems also gather data. For example, if you have a mobile app, right? Enterprise level app, right? And there are 80% of the users are free users, 20% of the users are paid users. So you can analyze the data. For example, you can analyze in terms of the 80% of the free users, how many of the free users are actually clicking on the features which are paid features, right? And then you can create a segment around that, and you can retarget them, and you can reach out to them using email ads and other channels to convert them into paid users. So in this case also, your own internal applications can also become a great source of intent for upsell, cross sells, for upgrades. Okay, if you are into tech. And then finally, your engagement, your customer service engagement, your chat engagement. If you're using ITSM systems like Zendesk and ServiceNow, okay, your email engagement, your ads engagement, that also can be a great source of data, engagement data, so that you can process and you can look into the signals. So I've already gone through a bunch of signals, and I can go on and on, but I hope that you got the point here. Okay, for most of the businesses, we don't need to track all the signals. You need to find out what are the signals that actually work best for you, and then create a reverse engineer it and create a GTM strategy and a GTM engineering around it. So once you have decided on the signals and what to do, next comes the execution, right? So how to outreach, the execution outreach. So these are the tools that we typically use for account lookup, for website visitor identity, for identity data, for lead enrichment. We regularly use Clay and Apollos and Phantom Busters. For process automation, we use Clay, Make.com, Bardeen, N10. More and more, we are using Clay and N10 in the coming days. For outreach, we use, we do all kind of outreach, email outreach, LinkedIn outreach. We also have partnership with AI calling and AI text companies that we can integrate it to, and we use multiple different tools. And we also use what we call as a hyper-personalized retargeting ads. That means, we take that data, we will upload the data as a customer match data into LinkedIn, Meta, and Google Ads. Okay, all these different behavioral data and demographic data and signal data, we push it, we upload that into the ads platform. We integrate that platform with your HubSpot or Salesforce, your CRM as well. And then we run very, very super hyper personalized ads, whether it is in LinkedIn, Meta, or Google, based on the segment that you want to target, right? So the use cases are tremendous. Okay, and I can keep talking about the use cases, but I hope that you got the process here. Okay, one of the use cases can be, hey, find all the people who are coming to my website, signing up for my signing up, going to the sign up page of the product, but they are not signing up. That's a use case, right? Correct? So using all this technology and we can create a GTM strategy. We can engineer a GTM strategy, and then we can reach out to all those people or companies who are doing that, right? Another use case is, find out all the companies who are posting a specific type of job, for example, data engineer, network engineer, and then reverse engineering. Find the decision makers in this company, reach out to them and say, hey, we can provide this service for you. Okay. Another, very commonly used signal is your product analytics, right? Find out all the users who are free users. They have not done the sign up in the last 6 months, but they have been super active. So you can create these use cases, and the possibilities are absolutely enormous, right? And countless. And then we keep creating these kind of use cases, and then we build GTM, systems around it. So we have a complete process. The process, we follow two major processes. The first one is the dark funnel, dark loop principle, and the other one is signal playbook, the signal execution playbook, right? So keep in touch with us. We'll keep creating more a content around it. If you need a service around building AI application, AI development, AI SaaS development, GTM engineering for your sales team, please do reach out to us. Thank you so much for being in this particular webinar. I'll see you in the next one.